But it wasn't just that. It was also Whitefield. Whitefield is so critical. Whitefield just didn't wake people up. What did he do? Because he was shunned. In America, we received another kind of message that those in France did not receive. Remember, the French Revolution happened at the same time or relatively close to our revolution. That ended in bloodshed. What was the difference between the American Revolution and the French Revolution that even Thomas Jefferson and, not surprisingly, Thomas Paine missed?
God.
It ended in bloodshed because the lack of God. Now, why was there a lack of God? There was a lack of God in France because they didn't get the Whitefield message. They got the first part of that message. Whitefield was shunned over in Europe, in England, and he was told, you can't preach in the cathedrals. You can't preach a message in the cathedrals because he was going outside of the norms. And what he was telling people was, you should have a personal relationship with God. That was different. The power structure was saying, come to me, the priest or the cleric or whoever, come to me. I will tell you what God says. And what God says is the king is good. So we got a different message. We got the message of shun the church because it's a sham. It's in with the king. France got that too, but we got the other part. But connect with God because he's personal. Listen to him speak directly to you. Don't listen to him. Don't go to a priest. You go to yourself and to your knees, and he will speak to you. Once the founders did that, that put the person, the individual, at the top of the ladder. There was no one else between the highest authority in the universe and the individual. And once they had that, then they went, okay, wait a minute. This king thing doesn't work. Why, who appoints him? God didn't appoint him because God would tell me that it was him too. That's not right. That's not right. He doesn't rule over me. God doesn't. And I should be able to rule myself. France didn't have that. France had the church is a sham, and so is government. And then it went into revolution. Instead, our founders said, I'm first in line with, and everybody else is too, I'm first in line and you're first in line with God to get his instruction because I'm his son or daughter. The king is a sham. Man should be able to rule himself. Now, American experiment time. Can man rule himself? The best minds of the time got together and said, yes, he can, but it's not going to be easy. There's certain things that he has done in the past that had chances, but why did it fall apart? And they went and they scoured history and they looked at everything. Now you have E2. They're looking at everything. They're educating themselves. What happened in Greece? What happened in Rome? What happened with the Anglo-Saxons? What happened with Moses? And they took the best things and they said, you know what? Here's where it went wrong. And then they started to build this structure so man could remain free and rule himself. The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence was to say, man should rule himself. The Constitution was put in as, okay, if you follow these things, you might have enough time to be able to really rule yourself. But just follow these things. That was the experiment. Can you control the other people? Enlightenment, reason, and God. Reject the trappings of everything else. Listen to God speak to you. Couple it with reason. If God's like, you should have Snickers every day, that's probably not God. That's not reasonable. Reason and God leads you to education because you cannot be a less than virtuous person or a dummy and rule yourself. Which leads to empowerment of standing up and saying, okay, I got it. I have the situation. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know history. I'm a smart person, and I'm going to do it. which leads immediately to creation, which is E4, entrepreneurship, creation. All thought is creative. Remember that. That is the system of our founders. I believe that's the system of God. Now, I've simplified it much because I don't understand God, and I don't believe I can even understand even the founders. But this is the general path. Now, that's what the founders were trying to do. There are another set of founders in America, the founders of the progressive movement. They know this system as well. And they also know all thought is creative. So now let's just quickly look at what they've done. They have distanced God from people. They have discredited him, distanced him, made him into a joke, denied his existence, or at best just confused him with social justice and everything else. Just confused him. Jeremiah Wright is a political organization. That's not a church. That's for community organizing on politics. It's not a church. It certainly doesn't say empower the individual. It says empower the state, and the state will provide justice for all. That's a political movement. So they've confused God at best and tried to destroy him everywhere else. Education, when you look at that study, these are centers of higher learning. This isn't a public school. These are centers of higher learning. Yale, Harvard, all of it. They can churn out whatever they want. They have the resources to be able to fix this. They're not. Well, who is in charge at these universities? Mostly Marxists and progressives. What are they doing? Why are you churning out people that can't think, can't reason? Can't reason. Age of Enlightenment, it was all about reason. Look at those studies. They cannot reason. They get out of school and they can't separate fact from fiction, opinion and emotion from truth. There's no reason being taught. The Age of Enlightenment, look it up. It was all about reason. So they're confusing and destroying education. And now they're just picking it up at empowerment. Stand up, rise up. That will lead to creation. When you have people rise up and they're uneducated and they can't reason and they don't know what the truth is and they don't know that they should listen to God and couple that with reason, you have destruction, which is an entrepreneurship of a whole different sort. But you are creating something. There's a reason E1 and E2 have been destroyed. It's intentional. And there's a reason now that E3 is being activated by the left. Because their creation is destruction. We have to choose the other path. We have to recognize it, and you must protect the younger generation. We must educate them. We must reach out to them. We must focus our energy, because the real battle is being fought there. It is. Please, parents and grandparents, please help educate. Get involved with the younger generation, please. And anybody who has any idea on how to reach to the college and everybody else, please let me know. Please let me know. The word has to go out. Age of reason needs to be renewed. Sponsor this half hour is Goldline. 1-866-GOLDLINE, 1-866-GOLDLINE, or goldline.com.
Glenn Beck.
888-727-BCK, 888-727-BECK. Stu just came in and answered the question, because the American experiment, and this is the debate we should be having, can man rule himself? And Stu said, yes.
Yes. It's true. And an enlightened, educated, empowered, entrepreneurial man can rule himself. We have to become those people. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure that we're those people. And when we are, we can.
And it's exactly what the founders said. It's exactly what the founders said. Over and over. Yeah. Marinate in their words. Marinate in the American experiment. Marinate in E4. Change your life.
Mercury.
This is the Glenn Beck Program on Mercury Radio Network.